everybody, glad to have you with me today for this foundation review. It's a review on the new Besame Stick Foundation. When I first heard that they were coming out with a foundation, I was like, yes, I was so glad to see that this brand is branching out into things beyond, lipsticks, blushes, and into something more coverage related. I was really excited to see what they would do, and I instantly thought, okay, they're going to put out a stick foundation. What is this inspired by? And I thought about that Max Factor Pan Stick. And sure enough, I went to their website and they said that the pan stick from the 1940s-ish time, I think. Yeah, it says that's when the first stick foundations were used. They were called pan stick, and they were full coverage foundations that came in a stick for ease of application. They also say it would make contouring for film and photography much simpler. And so if you're not familiar with Besame's line, what they're all about is taking like a vintage concept and putting it into their like modern formulas. I think Besame is such a unique line. I love this brand. It's a brand I love supporting. So as soon as these foundations launched, I bought them. I've been trying them out for almost a month now, and I gotta tell you, if I would have done a first impressions video, I know people were really eager for a review on these right away, but it wouldn't have been accurate at all. Like, there are so many little things that I've figured out about these as I've used them, ways that I think they work great, certain things I can do with them to make them far from great, so I really want to share all that information with you in this video. Packaging on these is just beautiful. It's got this kind of vine and floral type design that you see on the outside of their lipsticks, only instead of having any burgundy on this, it's just all gold. And I think it's really, really pretty. Every part of the packaging is gold. And these stick foundations are going to run you $25 a piece. Right now they're only being sold on Besame's website. I think that price is extremely fair. I mean, we're talking about pretty much only $10 more than some of the newest drugstore foundations that are out there. And all the claims for this say matte finish, full coverage, feather light, fragrance-free, vegan, non-comedogenic, cruelty-free, paraben-free, and made in the USA. They come in 8 shades, and they say that they can be used for foundation, concealer, highlighting, or contouring. Use them on their own or mixed together to create different shades. When I first got mine, what I was judging by for the shade was like this color swatch picture that they had accompanying each of the sticks, and I found that a little bit hard to figure out which shade I was. Now, if you go to Besame's website, there's a little submit your photo area underneath, where you find the actual stick and the color, and you can see where a bunch of different shades have been swatched out. And I think now, if you were looking for one, it would be much easier to see like what the gradient is of color. But I ended up purchasing 2 because I was so unsure at first. So I got True Beige, which is number 807, and that is the one that I've turned out to use as like my all-over foundation color. The other one that I picked up is Natural Beige, and that's 808, and it's a little bit lighter. And when I first got these, I thought, perfect, this will be my foundation, and I'll use this one as like my brightening top of the cheekbones concealer. Now, I'm not saying that that's a totally failed idea, but I think you need to be really, really careful when layering on too much of this foundation, because staying power can become a real concern. So I'm going to get into the staying power in just a little bit, but first off, just talking about this formula and the way it feels going on. Now, Pan Stick, I'm not sure if tons of other brands were making this alongside Max Factor, but Max Factor's specific Pan Stick is the product I think about, and it's been years since I've tried that, but I remembered it being a very slick foundation stick, kind of greasy, and definitely made my skin look greasy as I wore it, but the coverage was beautiful. It would look like really nice right after you put it on and blend it in. But the best word I can use to describe that is there is a greasiness to that product. This is a situation where I think Besame has definitely made an improvement on an older concept with this product, because it goes on a bit more velvety. Not that there's not a total glide across the skin when you apply it. I mean, there's no stiffness, there's no pull or tug. It's not a drying foundation stick type product, but it's definitely matte, kind of like a natural matte look is what it has once you've totally finished blending it in on your skin. They say it's feather light, and I would say it is very light if you apply a minimal amount of it and you aren't going and building it up a whole lot. Kind of common sense there. Full coverage. That's a claim where I think it builds to full coverage, but when I wear it in that way, when I apply enough of this foundation to make it full coverage on my skin, I don't like the way it wears. What I've learned in applying this foundation is that it's going to have the best wear for me throughout the day when I apply just enough. Just enough to basically blend out one layer across my skin, not overlapping and adding more on top of what I've already already put on, be it the same shade or like layering the lighter shade over it. If you want to split up and apply a couple of shades, I think you can totally do that, but maybe don't apply one shade all over your face first and then overlap it, like kind of give them their own sections so you're not applying foundation over foundation. Because what I see with this is I wear it all day and I'm a normal skin type. I'm not too oily, I'm not super dry either. But if there's too much building up, too much overlapping, just too much product is applied in general, it gets a real patchy look on the skin. And when I see patchy wear, in other words, like some spots, maybe it looks even, but a lot of spots it looks like it's just kind of breaking down and almost pulling away from the skin. When I see that with foundations, I kind of take it as my cue that there's maybe been too much applied and I need to pay attention to doing a thinner layer of product and trying to keep it as even as possible. And when I do that with this foundation, I do have really good staying power and it still looks really nice on the skin, albeit not full coverage, okay? Like I said, I could sit in front of the camera for you and build this up to complete full coverage and we would all sit here and think, yeah, that looks really good and really full coverage. Okay, first impression, yay. But by midday, the look of that product would be kind of separating and looking sort of patchy all over the skin. As always with reviews, what I offer you is my experience. You know, I try things a lot. I try to give it plenty of time and plenty of applications to give you my best determination of how this works, but it could still work differently for different people, obviously. There are some people who maybe with this product, their skin can just accept more of it and it just wears well regardless of the amount they apply. But for me, the amount that I put on is really a determining factor on whether it looks good or not so good by like mid to late day. But all in all, just my personal preference here, I really do like stick foundations. I like finding one that can work well. So I'm very pleased with this and I'm willing to accept the fact that it's more of a, I don't know, the fullest end of medium coverage on my skin. It's a matte but not unnaturally matte looking finish on the skin. I can blend it out any number of ways and I think I'm going to take this opportunity to go into my demo for this product. I've used a sponge with it. Sponges work fine. I wanted to kind of show you how a brush can work great for this because some stick foundations I think really demand a sponge because they're stiffer and thicker and they deposit product and it's like you've really got to find a way to get that all blended. This is very easy to blend just kind of casually with your fingers or a brush, and I did use a brush today. So first off, what I do, and I did the True Beige all over my skin. That's the only shade I use, just drawing little streaks of it basically all around the skin, and I've kind of learned what amount works for me, and this seems to work. It gives me an acceptable amount of coverage without being too heavy. And then I took my little Sephora, the Pro Mini Flawless Airbrush, and I use that to blend it all in across my skin. And I do feel like it's mattifying, but it's not too matte. It's not too chalky, you know, it still has this wonderful blendability about it. And the skin sort of feels velvety when you're all done. Like to touch my skin, it does not feel sticky at all, but it doesn't feel dry. It's a great middle ground that I think, at least for my skin, does not require a whole bunch of setting powder on top. Some people with very oily skin might feel comfortable putting a bit more powder on top of this, but for the finished texture and just the feel of it after application, I don't think it's begging for it. But that amount of product, not building up anymore. When I look up closely at my skin, I can still see some imperfections. You know, I don't feel like it's doing what full coverage foundations do for me. Now you can build this kind of product up till the cows come home and you would achieve full coverage. It can go there. I'm just saying I don't like the way it wears when too much is on my skin. What I was doing when I first got it is I would do that whole step that I just showed you in the demo and then take this lighter shade and like streak it right up here on top of my cheekbones, down the nose, and then blend that out, and it would look great right after I put it on, but then that's when I'd see like the signs of too much product as I went throughout the day and it looked patchy. But in terms of what's worn with this, I've tried different primers here and there. I think, you know, for my skin being normal, this product benefits from a good moisturizer underneath. For example, today I'm wearing the Clinique Moisture Surge Intense underneath, and I think that, you know, does some good things for it. In terms of just other products that I ended up going ahead and adding to this foundation, I used a little bit of concealer concealer, this Revlon Youth FX Fill and Blur. Definitely not like the most big time under eye concealer, but I put a little bit on the under eye area for brightening. I've got some Bobbi Brown bronzing powder in medium 2, just kind of around the perimeter of the face and hollows of the cheeks. My blush today is the Fit Me blush in nude, and then I've got some of this Love Light Blinded by the Light highlight from Too Faced, giving me just this little bit of glow on top of the cheeks. Finished look, I mean, I'm extremely happy with it. I don't feel like it looks too heavy, yet it's a look that's not so dewy that I feel like I'd touch it and just pull product right off my skin. I mean, I'm confident, and I've seen it happen time and time again, that this will last on my skin. Oh, and I did set the face with some of this Mario Badescu Cucumber Green Tea. And I might also add my lipstick. I'm using their new Portrait Peach lipstick, which I really, really like. You know, I love Besame's lipsticks. If you're curious about this line, by the way, and just want to, you know, look back and just learn a bit more about some of their lip products and stuff, I've got a couple videos that I've done on Besame, and I'll link to them below. But this is one of their newest lipstick launches, and I think this shade is so pretty and kind of unique for peach, right? There are so many peachy nudes that come out, shades that are significantly lighter than this but have that hint of peach. But this is a nice, like, real peach, like a little bit deeper peach on the lips, and I think it's so beautiful. But back to the foundation, I mean, it is a hit for me, but it's one of those things like it's a hit, but don't screw it up. You know, don't apply too much of this product, and I think that's what you'll be happiest with in terms of the way it looks and the way it wears. If you've tried this product, definitely give your feedback in the comments section. Let us know what your skin type is and how it worked out for you. And again, it's being sold on the Besame Cosmetics website, and if you go there, you can read more customer reviews, you can see more pictures and like swatches of the full line, see different people wearing certain shades, and I think that'll be really helpful for you if you want to look into it some more. So thank you guys again, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.